Imagine being alone in the middle of a vast desert. The sun has long disappeared, and all you hear is the wind rustling through the dry, cracked earth. But the silence? It's not peaceful, it's haunting. And it's not just the winds that are waiting in the dark. Sometimes it's what lurks in that silence, waiting to claim its next victim. Tonight, we'll share 3 bone-chilling stories from the deserts of America that you won't be able to forget. You'll be second-guessing every road trip you take. Before we dive in, make sure you subscribe and turn on the bell for more spine-tingling stories that'll make you think twice before venturing into the unknown. Trust me, you won't want to miss this. But let's get started.
It was a summer night when Mike and Sarah, a young couple, decided to take a road trip across Nevada. The vast desert stretched endlessly on both sides of the road as their headlights cut through the blackness. It was quiet, too quiet. The occasional wind howled, but that was it. No other cars, no lights in the distance, just them alone in the middle of nowhere. Then, as if appearing out of thin air, a figure caught their attention. A woman, dressed in a long, flowing white dress, her hair matted to her face. She stood by the side of the road, barely visible in the darkness. Mike, always the good Samaritan, slowed the car. "Maybe she needs help," he said, glancing over at Sarah. But Sarah felt a chill. Something wasn't right. But Mike had already stopped the car. The woman climbed into the back seat without a word. Her presence sent an icy chill through the car. Sarah tried to make small talk, but the woman didn't respond. The air inside the car was thick with tension. Mike looked in the rearview mirror. The woman was staring directly at him, her eyes wide, unblinking. It felt like she was staring right through him. Where exactly are we taking you?" Mike asked nervously. The woman's voice was barely a whisper. "Into the next town, you should have kept going." A cold shiver ran down Mike's spine. Sarah looked back to the rearview mirror. The woman was gone. She had disappeared completely, as if she had never been there at all. Mike slammed on the brakes, pulling over to the side of the road. "Did you see that?" he shouted, his heart racing. But Sarah, frozen, could only nod in disbelief. They quickly sped off, their hands shaking, eyes scanning the empty road. When they reached the nearest gas station, their nerves were still frayed. The old attendant behind the counter listened to their story without a hint of surprise. "You two aren't the first ones," he said. "Many travelers have picked up the woman in white. Legend says she was killed on this road decades ago. People say she's still out there, luring people to their doom." Mike and Sarah didn't say another word. They couldn't shake the feeling that they had just narrowly escaped something or someone. They never drove through that stretch of desert again, and they never picked up another hitchhiker. Jenna was an adventurer's heart. That's why, when she had the chance to hike alone in the Arizona desert, she jumped at the opportunity. With nothing but her backpack, a water bottle, and her GPS, she ventured deep into the dunes, determined to experience the true solitude of the desert. The sun set, and the desert transformed. The skies grew dark, and the temperature dropped sharply. That's when she first heard a soft whisper. It was so faint at first, she thought it was just the wind. But the whispers grew louder. Now it sounded like voices. They were talking to her, calling her name. At first, Jenna told herself it was nothing. Maybe the wind played tricks on her ears, right? The whispers grew more insistent, louder. Jenna's heart began to race. She paused, looking around. The desert was completely empty, but the voices were all around her. The whispers felt like they were inside her mind, echoing, growing louder with each step. "You shouldn't be here," one voice whispered, followed by another, "Leave now."
Panic set in. Jenna ran, but the whispers seemed to follow her, now turning into full sentences. Desperate to find her bearings, Jenna stumbled upon a circle of large stones arranged in an odd formation. Some of the stones were carved with strange symbols she didn't recognize. That's when she heard the final warning, "Turn back, or you'll never leave." Jenna's chest tightened with fear. She tried to ignore the feeling that something was watching her. As she turned to run, she froze. Standing in front of her was a tall, shadowy figure. She couldn't make out its features, but it was there. Paralyzed with fear, Jenna managed to turn and sprint in the other direction. Hours passed, and eventually, dawn broke. Jenna found her way back to her car, trembling. Later, she learned that the area she had wandered into was known for ancient rituals. The whispers weren't just the wind. They were the spirits of those who had been trapped there for centuries. It was supposed to be a fun weekend getaway. Dave, Lisa, and Mark were eager to get away from the hustle and bustle of city life and enjoy a peaceful camping trip in the Mojave Desert. They set up their tents, cracked open some beers, and made a campfire to keep them warm as the temperature dropped. As they settled in, they noticed a faint glow in the distance, not far from their camp. A fire. "Hey, guys, let's check it out," Mark suggested. But Lisa, sensing something wasn't right, hesitated. "Are you sure? It seems awfully far out there." Mark laughed. "Come on, it's just another camper. Let's see who's out there." Reluctantly, Lisa followed. They hiked toward the fire, only to find no one around it. Just the flames, flickering wildly, casting shadows on the sand. The figures, dressed in dark clothing, were moving around the fire, their faces hidden in the flickering light.
But when they got close enough to speak, the fire suddenly extinguished itself. The figures vanished into thin air. Dave turned to look back at their own campsite, but everything was wrong. Their tents had been torn apart. Their gear was scattered like it had been trampled by something large. Lisa screamed as she noticed something horrifying. A laughing voice, soft but sinister, echoed from the darkness. It wasn't coming from any of the figures. It was coming from the empty desert itself. In a state of panic, the group packed their things and ran back to the car. But no matter how fast they drove, they couldn't shake the feeling that something was following them. The phantom fire, the strange laughter, it haunted them. Later, they learned from locals that many campers in the Mojave Desert have seen the phantom fire. No one knows who or what it is, but it's said that the fire leads people to their doom, and those who venture too close never come back. So, what do you think? The hitchhiker in white, the whispering spirits, or the phantom campfire that lures you to the desert's depths? Which one gave you the creeps? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and share this video with anyone brave enough to hear these tales. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you want more terrifying stories. And remember, the desert may look empty, but it's never really silent. Stay safe, and we'll see you in the next video.